minus 10 minutes. Minus 9 minutes. Minus 8 minutes. Minus 7 minutes. minus 5 minutes. Minus for minutes. Minus 3 minutes. Minus 2 minutes. Minus 1 minute. Stand by.
How about that?
Hey there. Hi there. Hey now, as they say. Welcome to the RP Show, everybody. Getting after it here on Game Plus Television, Canada-wide in 32 U.S. states, plus YouTube live streaming and Mission Radio. It's your boy RP here. Kevin the Medium joining us shortly from the Hughes Sports Podcast. And in hour two, Jersey Jim Biringer joining us from NHL Full Press. We'll get a lot of your New York area sports talk out of the way. The meat of what I want to talk about with Kevin the Medium is going to come up in the next segment. So I might just say to you, Kev, as he joins us from the West Coast, to just do what you do best and sit there and look pretty, other than say, top of the morning to you, sir. How are things on the West Coast?
Things are wet on the wet coast, as usual.
The usual.
Every time I come down here, it seems like it's raining, but yeah, it's beautiful down here. I love it.
You grew up there. Kevin's joining us from Vancouver, so you should know. You should know what that's all about. So just hang on. You'll get some thoughts on where I'm going here, everybody. But we do it every day. The Quick Six Show topics. We open with the big story, and I don't know about you, but for me, the big story is baseball, and my phone is blowing up with my friends, all excited. The Toronto Blue Jays will find out tonight who their playoff opponent will be in the American League Division Series. The Yankees host the Boston Red Sox in a deciding Game 3 of their American League Wildcard Series tonight. New York evened it last night with a 4-3 victory. Now, that was a baseball game. I don't know, Kev, if you watched it, because I know you're holidaying out there? Okay, on the West Coast. But that is what I love about fall baseball is Yankee Stadium, everybody on their feet. And yeah, they're on their feet in Cleveland, they're on their feet in LA, but there's something about Yankee Stadium to me. So the winner of tonight's game will advance to face the Blue Jays, as I mentioned, in the American League Division Series. And it was fun yesterday going back and forth with the viewers as to who do we want the Blue Jays to face. I'm saying the Yankees. Some are saying no. I don't know. First pitch tonight is 8:08. Early versus Schittler. And I'm wondering if you have plans. At this moment, I don't really have plans. My guess is I'll be at home to watch it, but people are gathering. It's that kind of night. It's Yankees, Red Sox, winner take all, man. Your thoughts on this?
You know what? I did watch the game. My brother, who I'm staying with, is a massive baseball fan. We were talking last night. He watched every single Blue Jays game all season long. He's older than me. He's the oldest brother. And so he's retired. So that's what he does. He watches baseball. And he's literally watched every single game. So he wants Boston. I want the Yankees. And more so just because that nostalgia. I'm not a huge baseball fan, as you know, but just that nostalgia of beating the Yankees, I think would be better than beating Boston. But Talking about the game yesterday, it was so cool to watch. And yeah, the game was cool. But watching the crowd was just, you seen grown men crying, weeping when they won. It was amazing.
The emotion, everybody knows it. You can't manufacture that kind of emotion over 162 games. You just can't, because you get worn out. But it happens in the playoffs. We're seeing it in real time, and this is what we love about October baseball. So yeah, it's a big one tonight. We'll talk about the other series later on as we move along. Point 2 of the Quick Six Show topics. The Los Angeles Rams will look to build on their momentum when they take on the division rival San Francisco 49ers in Thursday night football to kick off Week 5 in the NFL tonight. If you see, I'm wearing my San Francisco shirt in honor of tonight's game. I'm not a 49ers fan, but Brock Purdy and starting receivers Ricky Pearsall and Juwan Jennings are out for the banged-up 49ers. The Rams are a blocked field goal away from being undefeated. The Rams have won 3 straight in the series. The prediction from the Associated Press is that the Rams will win tonight 26-16, but it brings up our fun poll. Every Wednesday we do the CFL games, and we have our picks coming up with Kev in the next segment, Week 18. But what's America's game of the week in the NFL? Every Wednesday we do CFL. Thursdays at an NFL season, it'll be the America's game of the week. The options I've come up with are this one tonight in classic NFC West battle. 3-1 teams. It's a pretty good game tonight. The Monday nighter, the Kansas City Chiefs at the Jacksonville Jaguars, the surprising 3-1 Jacksonville Jaguars against the 2-2 Chiefs. Anytime the Chiefs are playing, they are now America's team. And also Las Vegas, just because we'll be airing in Las Vegas in hour 2 on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network. The Raiders are never going to be too far from our heart. The Raiders at the Colts, or is it another game? But what I'll tell you is there's just not in Week 5, there's not a lot of juice. Even the Vikings are playing the Browns in England, and Nobody cares about that game other than Vikings and Browns fans. Is there any game in Week 5 in the NFL, Kev, that's jumping off the page to you?
No, I mean, we pay attention to the Titans just because Angela's cousin is the wide receiver, the rookie wide receiver from Medicine Hat that made the team. So we've been paying attention to them, and it's not fun to watch. They've been brutal, to put it mildly. And of course, I love my Seahawks, so I'll pay attention to any Seahawks game. But as you know, I'm not a big NFL fan.
Seahawks have the Buccaneers in there this weekend too with Baker Mayfield. So I mean, for the fans of those markets, yeah, there's some exciting games in the National Football League, but on a national level, not particularly. And it's funny you say that. Kev is referring to Alec Manor of the Tennessee Titans. And in the States, you've spent enough time here, and that's where I'm at here in South Florida. It's all football all the time, and I'm seeing this thing about the 0-4 Tennessee Titans and the graphic across the screen on ESPN. Are the Titans ruining Cam Ward? What did you think was going to happen? He's the number 1 overall pick. You're throwing him on the worst team in the NFL, throwing him out onto the field. Live with it. I mean, if you're worried about ruining him, sign a veteran backup and make him play. Yeah, go ahead. It's
similar to the Bedard. Put him on the worst team in the league and expect him to be Gretzky. No, that's not going to happen. It's going to take time. They're basically a rebuilding team. It's going to take a few years for them to gel together. So, and I mean, Cam Ward isn't doing himself any favors when he's coming out saying the team stinks.
Yeah, well, hey,
I mean, yes, they do.
You know, it's funny. When we come back in the next segment, I don't just want to talk about the games. There's a few other things that I want to talk about with you that pertain to these young kids now in sports, like your beloved Nathan Rourke of the BC Lions. He was the player of the week again in the CFL, and I still can't believe that he wasn't fined for ripping the league governors and the commissioner last week. So we'll get to that. We only got a week before the break, but I guess we got to get used to them popping off. Nobody ever disciplined them when they were kids, so now they're in the pro leagues and they're still popping off, and I guess nobody's going to discipline them. And should Nathan Rourke have even be disciplined? I'm not even sure that I know the answer to that. What I know is every time I say something controversial or rip the bosses, it's not good. So I don't know how these kids are getting away with it. So anyways, the text line is open for Western Dodge, 902-518-3033. Are you looking to trade up? Western Dodge makes it easy with top dollar trade-ins and unbeatable deals, y'all. We'll be right back. We're live on the Game Plus Television Network, YouTube Live, podcast, and Mission Radio. We'll be right back.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge. Big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with The Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
Nazareth's Canadian Farewell Tour is coming to Moose Jaw. Live at Temple Garden Center, October 17th. With special guest, Lee Aaron. Tickets on sale now at Temple Garden Center box office or sasktix.ca.
Hour one of the RP Show is brought to you by Outlaw Communications, where creativity isn't a hobby, it's a way of life. From strategic communications to leadership training and conversational content, we help your message connect and inspire. Kevin the Medium is with us from the Hughes Sports Podcast. I'm going to map out the road for you and the viewers, Kev. This segment, if we can, I want it to all be CFL. The next segment, all NHL. And then Kevin will adjourn. I want to talk about old coaches. If we get through all of that, maybe I'll talk with Kev about it. And also the viewer comments. Everybody's geeked up about the Yankees and the Red Sox tonight. Game 3 of the best of 3. Paul writes in from Winnipeg on the Western Dodge text line. He says the Yankees are like the Terminator. They just don't die. Problem is they can't win the whole thing. Well, we're going to find out tonight. That's why we're all going to be watching. I don't even know what channel it is. I assume it's on ESPN. We'll find it. Okay. I promised the CFL. Point 3 of the quick 6 show topics, Kev. Week 18 is at hand, and there's some delicious things coming out of it. The Saskatchewan Roughriders go into Ottawa Friday night. We've learned they're leaving their veteran kicker at home, Brett Lawther. He's a personal friend of mine, but I also can't blame the Riders for doing it. His field goals are at 68%, I think. He's just having a dreadful season. And then that's Friday night, Sask at Ottawa. We'll come back on our picks on all of these. And Saturday, a doubleheader, Hamilton at Toronto. Must win for the Argos. And then what everybody voted yesterday was the game of the week, the Calgary Stampeders at the BC Lions on Saturday night. And I should tell the folks, you're going to be there, right?
I am going to be there. And I found out this morning they're actually honoring Solomon Aluminium, putting them up on the Wall of Fame in BC Place, which is kind of cool.
Absolutely. And I want to hear from the BC viewers right now, 902-518-3033. And for that matter, Stampeders fans too. Why the heck not? But I just want to go back on this Nathan Rourke thing for a second. I mentioned it yesterday. Nobody's, that I can see, is really talking about the games. They're all still bitching and whining about the rule and field changes, to the point that we talked about it a lot here yesterday, Kev. It's one of our viewers, Nelson, said, it's gotten what did he say? Divisive and exhausting. And people aren't letting it go. People actually think they're going to walk these rule changes back. They never do that. And Nathan Rourke not walking back his comments either, but why should he? He called the rule changes garbage. He said some not very nice things about the commissioner, and he got away with it. So it's a really, really weird situation to me.
It amazed me that when the fines came out that week that he first spoke, that he wasn't reprimanded or fined or anything. And maybe it was behind the scenes. Maybe they didn't want to pull I'll use the words, a Jimmy Kimmel and try to silence him. But maybe it was all behind the scenes, but you're like you said, he didn't walk it back. He was on another talk show. I forget which one I saw him on, and he didn't walk it back. He basically said, I'm standing up for the average fan. This is my thoughts. This is my beliefs. And I'm going to speak my truth, and good for him. But I think you're right. I think you nailed it before we went on break. These kids they were never told no growing up. So they don't get that sometimes you gotta, and just go with the flow to get along, if you know what I mean.
Or you don't.
Maybe they're right and we're wrong.
That's my point. I mean, my kids are grown. I don't need to deal with this. I know I never put up with it. I didn't. But I remember this summer calling baseball, and one night we had a internet outage in the broadcast booth. We weren't able to call the game. So I was down by the dugout watching the game, and one of the players, Ben Wallachuk from Wichita, Kansas, turns to me. He's playing in the game. He turns to me, he goes, "Why aren't you calling the game?" I said, "Don't talk to me. Watch the game. Or play the game." He goes, "So why aren't you doing the game? Like, were you not listening?" They don't listen. I don't get them. But to be honest, I mentioned yesterday that I was talking to a hallowed CFL figure yesterday. He's probably watching this show right now. He'll love that I called him that. But he said about Nathan Rourke, he was like, "Know your effing role. You're the quarterback.
Right?
Get out there and play. Don't be yipping about the rules." Is that too much, too old school, or is he right?
Maybe, obviously I'm older than you. I've got you by almost a decade. And I am old school. I can't help it. That's just how I was raised. There's a time to speak out and a time not to. I can speak out. I'm a fan. Yeah, media. I'm more media now than I've ever been, which is really exciting. But there's a time and a place. It's cool because we've had on our Hughes Sports podcast, we had Nick Lewis on this week, just on Tuesday. And I love the way he went about. He's not against the rules, but he's a lot like us, where he's saying, "Stop peeing on my face and telling me it's raining," because we know what the big plan is. Just come out and tell us what the big plan is. But I'm getting to the point where you are, where I'm just done with it. I want to talk about the games.
And that's what we're going to do right now. But I'll just say this, though. We posted a clip to our social media of Moose's comments about this yesterday, and he said he's in favor of it. He likes change. He likes progress. And then people are ripping Darren. And I'm like, listen, I get it. I get it. If you don't like negativity, stay off social media. And maybe I'm just defending Darren. But I'm like, can you keep your negative crap? He's just given his opinion that he likes the rule changes. But then people are getting personal, and that part is highly disgusting to me. Scott writes in, he says, "I will be going to the Lions game with a buddy from Nanaimo. Should be fun." B. Mans writes in, he says, "I'm watching the games last week with the new rules in mind. The criticism is overblown. The CFL is still uniquely Canadian in so many ways." And by the way, that'll be a topic for another show down the line once we get closer to the U.S. expansion, because it is coming. I think we all know that. You could still play with 3 downs. You could still play with 12 men. A ratio won't be allowed, but you could still play with a rouge. The things that you all love, that we all love, there's no need or reason for them to go away. Yes. I feel like you agree with that.
I do. And when the rules came the changes first came out, I was like, what the now that I've taken 2 weeks to kind of digest it, I get it. We have to expand. This league we've talked about expansion since I was knee-high to a grasshopper, and it hasn't happened properly. So we need to expand. And the way to do that is fit our field into U.S. stadiums. It's the only way to do it, is make it a 100-yard field. So I get it. Just don't change to 4 downs. Don't make this field shorter. I mean, narrower. Keep that aspect, and I'll be happy.
Keep the comments rolling, everybody. 902-518-3033 on the Western Dodge text line. So our CFL picks every week are brought to you by Pump Jacks Cathedral, Pump Jacks Weyburn. Come early, stay late at the place where the friends meet. I'll give you the point spreads, although it doesn't matter. We just picked the straight-up winner because guess what? Come playoff time, the betting line doesn't matter. It's about who has one more point than the other. And so Friday night, Saskatchewan is at Ottawa. It is a must-win game for the Red Blacks. A case could be made that that's the game of the week. The Riders want to avoid a third straight loss. They don't have their kicker there. The Riders are favored by 6.5 at Ottawa, but just straight up, who wins the game, Kev?
You know what? You said it's a must-win for the Red Blacks. I think it's almost as much of a must-win for the Riders. Not the fact that they could, obviously, they've clinched the playoff, but just for their morale, if they keep losing, there's a possibility in reality, they could finish in third place. So I'm picking the Riders.
Me as well. And it shouldn't probably even be close. Wouldn't it be something if it came down to a field goal and the rookie, I believe his name is Campbell Fair, it's not even a household name in his own house, and he's going to make this thing? Must-see TV. Friday night's game, Saskatchewan at Ottawa. Saturday doubleheader, Hamilton Tiger Cats at Toronto. I'm surprised the line is this narrow, unless the odds makers know something I don't. The Tiger Cats are favored by 1.5 only going into Toronto. I think Hamilton should mop the floor with them. I'll go first. I got Hamilton to win, but how about you?
I'm the same way. I was shocked when Jake was reading out and Tuesday it was only 0.5 point. So now it's 1.5. Yeah, I thought this one would be a blowout. Bo and the Tiger Cats are going to come in and they're angry. They lost last week and they're going to come back. I think it's going to be another blowout on this one.
Were humiliated last week.
Yes.
Were humiliated last week in Winnipeg 40-3. And do not ever discount that. Like, I'm not a bettor. Everybody knows that. I predict the games. I talk about the games. I don't actually put money on them. But when I was winning a lot. And one of the biggest factors is how did the team do last game? Yeah. Right? And I'm sure the bettors use that, like the odds makers. And then the game of the week is the Calgary Stampeders at the BC Lions. I'll just pencil you in for a win right here. You always pick BC, and of late, they always win. What's going to happen at BC Place Saturday night?
Man, if I was a betting man, I would take the points because I think there was 3.5 points, was there not, the spread? If I was a betting man, I would take that.
4.5. Calgary is favored 4.5 at BC.
I'm going to take my Lions, obviously. I never bet against them, even when I know they're going to lose. This one's going to be a tough one for them. This one is pretty much, if they want to finish in second, this one's a must-win for them. So I'm hoping they come out and do what needs to be done. I think defense has to stand on their heads again and pressure VA like he's never been pressured before, and we have a chance.
Where's Jeff the Stamps fan and his cocky bravado? Yeah, I don't see him in the comments section. I think he's here. I think he's just waiting in the weeds like he always does. I'm going to take Calgary just to be the fly in the ointment. To be honest, I'm a really big fan of Amar Doman, the owner of the BC Lions. He supports everything that we do here with this fine program. But I can't pick all the same games as you. So I'll take Calgary. But what I will tell you is if Calgary loses, that would be 4 in a row. Like, I look at your BC Lions. You want to talk about a Jekyll and Hyde football team? Kev, you guys were like being talked off ledges earlier in the season, and now you're doing the Conor McGregor walking into the stadium, man, puffing your chest out. Like, will the real BC Lions please stand up?
Well, and who is the real BC Lions? We haven't figured that out yet. I guess we'll figure out as we go into the playoffs. What's cool is we're going to this game, Angela and I, and they've opened up the upper bowl, so it sounds like it's going to be a huge crowd. They're calling it the Gravy Bowl. I guess we get turkey at the tailgate party and big beer gardens, and it should be a fun game.
So those are our picks, and we still have a couple of minutes left here in the segment, and we talked about the CFL rule changes, which, again, I'm kind of sick of. I am, and I don't know if people are going to let this go anytime soon, but I guess we can break the news for you. The Hughes Sports Podcast will be at the Grey Cup in November. Talk about that if you don't mind, please.
Oh, man, talk about exciting. I got an email as I was driving down here, as I was coming through Golden, BC, actually. I just stopped in Golden, BC to grab a coffee at Tim Hortons, and I got the email saying, and it kind of, when you get the email, they list out all the events you've been approved for. And it was basically, I was approved for all the events, not the game itself, none of the practices. I wake up this morning. Ooh, I got goosebumps. I wake up this morning and I got a separate email, and we're approved for all the practices and the game. So talk about it's a cool story. Jake and I started this show 134 episodes ago. More so as a joke. We're like, let's go in the air and just be goofy. And that's what we are. We're goofy and we have fun. And here we are 134 episodes later, and we are now going to the Grey Cup as with full media credentials. To say I'm proud, to say I got a bit of a swagger going, yeah, I do. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I'm excited. Being a lifelong CFL fan, it's cool.
I'm proud of you guys, too. By the way, Arlen Bruce III writes in, he says, great morning, RP. I will be at the Gravy Bowl. If I was a betting man, I would take the over 50-plus points. VA versus Rourke. Should be exciting. Oh, yeah, our viewers all knew that this was the game of the week. We'll keep this rolling, but we're going to get into some NHL stuff when we return. We're live on the Game Plus television network, streaming on YouTube, podcast form, of course, and on 1700 AM Mission Radio. We'll be right back.
Country's hottest party is coming. James Barker Band, Bud Light Buckle Up Tour 2025. Live across Canada with special guests Ryan and Rory. November 20th, Temple Garden Center. Tickets on sale now at Temple Garden Center box office or online at zasktix.ca. James Barker Band Live.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina. This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
The RP Show continues. We do it every day. In hour one, the junior hockey report for the Mad Greek. Andrew O'Neill netted the game-winning goal, 2:31 into the third period, as the Edmonton Oil Kings edged the Regina Pats 4-3 Wednesday in the WHL. It was the only game. Those same Oil Kings visit the Moose Jaw Warriors Friday night at the Temple Garden Center. And there you go for our junior hockey report. We got to let you know what the Warriors are doing. For legendary ribs, delicious pizza, and late-night bites, it's the Mad Greek Eatery, open until 11 p.m. Order online, pick up, or dine in. TheMadGreekEatery.com. Before we jump into this, what I think is a very fun NHL topic. It's not about the games last night and blah, 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 power rankings and all the rest. Tony from Cochrane, Alberta writes in, you might have seen it on the YouTube stream. He says, so, Kevin the Medium, are you a Flames or Canucks fan?
Well, come on now. I am definitely a Canucks fan. Diehard Canuck fan. I remember watching the very first game in 1970. It's like, yeah, born and bred.
Your very first game, not the Vancouver Canucks' very first game, but I get it. But you know, it's funny because Calgary
the
is
Vancouver
similar.
Canucks first game.
Did they not play? Weren't they part of expansion in 1907?
1970, wasn't it?
It was in the late 60s, but that's okay. It was a long time ago. We have comments now coming in on all of the topics that we've brought up so far today. I'm going to have to push these to the next segment once Kevin adjourns. But it's funny because Calgary is a place where there's so many transients. You're a good example of that. You know, you cheer for other teams. It reminds me of Florida. It's pretty easy here because everybody loves a different team, whether it's the NFL. There's a tons of Steelers fans, New York Giants, New York Mets, Chicago Blackhawks. You know what I mean? Like it's,
yes.
You know, it's where I come from in Saskatchewan, as you know, there's one team, that anybody covers and follows. And it's fun to you know, you can make a lot of money covering it. I did for a long time, but they're not interested in any other thing but the football team there. That's just the way that it was. Oh, okay. Terry the lawyer writes in. Thank you, Trust a lawyer. You going to bill me for this, Terry? He says it was 1970 with the Sabres. Scott in Vancouver writes in. He goes, no, he's right. The Canucks and Sabres were 1970. Okay, you got me. You got me. I'm actually happy about that. Yeah, for the first time. I love it. I also wasn't alive yet. Just going to point that out.
I was 6 years old. I was sitting in the basement of the townhouse and watched it on a black and white TV. The old cabinet TV.
That's the way hockey watching was meant to be. Okay, so point 4. Mm-hmm. This is where it's going to get fun. The Vegas, as if it hasn't already been fun. The Vegas Golden Knights go into every season with the intention of winning the Stanley Cup, and anything short of that would be considered a disappointment. You can call it the McCrimmon effect. They are co-favorites at BetMGM Sportsbook, along with Colorado. Co-favorites, Colorado and Vegas to win the Stanley Cup. The two-time defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers have dropped all the way to 5th, and we know why. It's because of injuries to captain Alexander Barkov and Matthew Tkachuk to start the season. Here are your top 5 betting odds from BetMGM. I just said Vegas and Colorado are tied for first. Third, then, tied are Carolina and Edmonton. 5th, Florida. And just for spits and giggles, do you want to know where the other Canadian teams slot in according to BetMGM or even your Canucks?
Yeah.
You do? I can tell. They got them at 19th. Which is far better than I have them, as you know.
Yeah.
But they got the Leafs 9, Winnipeg Jets 11, Montreal Canadiens 18. And if anybody cares, if you want, I can go through the whole entire list. But it is interesting as we go into the season. I think I got to remind people, let's have fun with it now, because as soon as the games start and the standings start to shift, this is all going to go out the window. Like opening week is next week. Opening night is next Tuesday with a triple header, and I'm grateful to be there. with Connor Bedard and the Chicago Blackhawks coming into Florida into Sunrise. And I'll talk more about that next segment and into next hour. But Kev, so you're going to be watching the Canucks this weekend, if I recall.
I am. We're going to the game on Friday. Friday night, we're going to see the last preseason game against the Oilers. And of course, I watched the game on TV last night as Vancouver spanked the Flames. I think it was 8-1, 7-1. It was a fun game. It's preseason, obviously. But I'm liking what I'm seeing out of the Canucks right now. Jake has this, I don't know what it is, somebody he follows, they do some kind of sim thing and they predict how many points each team we're going to get. They're still predicting the Canucks at 90 to 94, which would put us definitely into a playoff spot, I think.
Yeah, well, we got so many viewers. Well, it's funny you say that because Calgary had 96 points last year, tied an NHL record for having the most points and missing the playoffs. According to BetMGM, they have Calgary nowhere near the playoffs. And I mean, you live there. That would not go over well. No. The optimism in Calgary is higher than I've seen in a very long time.
Yeah, and I'm afraid that optimism is going to be shattered before Christmas, to be honest. I don't think this team has what it's going to take that next step. They haven't made the changes or brought anybody in that I would go, yeah, that's going to work. So it's going to be interesting to see. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before many, many times, but
not today though.
I was right today. I'm going to mark this down. It was October 2nd, 2025 that I was right.
I'm very happy about that. By the way, BW in Edmonton writes in and he says you need 100 points to make the NHL playoffs. Some fun things around this. Nelson says ESPN, the reluctant home of the NHL. What he's referring to there is I saw an announcement this morning about the NHL and ESPN re-upping their deal, more money, more years, something like that. And I guess one of the announcers said on ESPN, great, but I won't be watching. And that announcer is getting trounced. That's like me saying, great, we just secured the MLS rights on Game Plus TV, but I won't be watching. That's just the truth, right? I'm not the soccer guy. But it's weird here because you've been here, but you haven't been here for that long. Do you know how many people are blowing up my phone, Kev? My friends here in South Florida going, they're playing already? Yeah. Yeah.
And yet,
like this.
And up here, we're like, oh, come on, start it already. Let's go.
Exactly. And it's just a little weird. And I think that's why I talked about this yesterday. That's why I think what we're doing here on the RP show is going to work real well in that we'll talk about all the CFL in hour one. And then in hour two, we'll focus on the U.S. sports as we go to the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network in Vegas, where it's going over very well. I want to talk about it in the next segment. But then nobody's talking hockey in America. Somebody has to do it. Somebody has to do it, you know. And now all the comments are coming in like crazy. But, I mean, this thing with the CFL, let me guess, you will be Joe's CFL guy now because you got accredited for the Grey Cup. You got a pass for the Grey Cup. You'll be Mr. CFL, which you should be. But it kind of has probably changed your thoughts on the league.
Well, I mean, I'm still going to call the league out when I think the league needs to be called out. I'm definitely not going to be putting my lips on anybody's rear end. So I will still be. I mean, if you listen to our show on Hughes Sports Podcast, we call them out when they need to be called out. They don't like us so well. They don't pay our wages. Nobody does. We do this for fun.
Yeah, well, that's the difference between what the media was and what the media is.
Yes.
And I would suggest if you want to have a long career covering the CFL, you might want to pucker up, Cup. You might want to pucker up. Get out the chapstick because it's very easy here in Florida, by the way. When I say nobody's covering the Panthers, the other night, they're like, Rod, the Panthers. Who do you want to interview? Sergei Bobrovsky? Here you go, Rod. And I'm standing there talking to Sergei Bobrovsky about the backup battle and, you know, having a debate with Paul Maurice about various things. Like there's nobody else there to talk about it. You know, not nobody, but not like Canada where it's, you know, they got the wall, the Iron Curtain up around all the people. It's just so different. Everybody, I would encourage you to keep the comments rolling after the break because it's going to be just me for the next 2 segments. But Kevin's out of here until tomorrow when we talk a heck of a lot more football with you. So go enjoy your hometown, Kev. Appreciate you.
Thank my friend. And if anybody's at the BC game, check us out. We'll be around the Terry Fox Plaza. Look me up.
Wonderful job. We'll see you again tomorrow, right?
You betcha.
Okay, sports update and viewer takeover coming up the rest of the way, everybody. We are live here on Game Plus Television.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
RP Show continues on a Thursday, episode number 1589 of your favorite daytime sports talk show. It's your favorite because you're here, right? I will ask you again, if you just joined us and didn't hear earlier, get your comments in now because it's a viewer takeover now until the top of the hour with a lot of things that we've got through today. And to believe it or not, we didn't get to all of the things that I wanted to with Kevin because we got hung up on some fun things. But it's Canada after all. And what we've talked about is CFL, NHL, Major League Baseball, and NFL. Anything else? Yeah, I will tell you that the hottest RP show merch is just one click away. Visit rodpeterson.com, click on RP store. Things there like hats, coffee mugs, coffee cups, bunny hugs, hoodies, t-shirts, you name it. It's all there. We've got it all. Hang on, guys. I see Tony from Cochrane, Alberta writes in. He says, call me crazy, but I'm picking the Cleveland Browns over the McCarthy-less Vikings in jolly old England. Were you watching Tony earlier when I said this weekend, unfortunately, in the NFL, feels like a big nothing burger in terms of games? And that's our poll question today for EMJ Marketing. What is America's game of the week in the NFL? Expert voices, impactful messages. Discover the perfect speaker at EMJ Marketing. Go to emjmarketing.com for more information. The options, I didn't even put Cleveland, Minnesota down, and maybe I should have, but Chiefs, Jaguars on Monday night is what I voted for. San Francisco, LA Rams, which they're playing tonight to kick off Week 5 in the Thursday nighter. It's an NFC West battle. Two good teams that are 3-1. And because we're going to be going to Las Vegas in hour 2, we got the Raiders at the Indianapolis Colts or other. I don't see any really exciting games in the NFL. Nelson, our VP of Sim Events, writes in. He says, my RP show travel mug is the best. 24 ounces of coffee doesn't even fit under the coffee maker. Ooh, how about that? Well, we do sell good stuff. So thank you, Nelson, for supporting. To the sports update, Shohei Ohtani is set to make his postseason pitching debut for the Los Angeles Dodgers. He'll start against the Phillies in Game 1 of the NLDS. The Dodgers open the best-of-5 series Saturday in Philadelphia. Manager Dave Roberts confirmed Ohtani is the starter after the Dodgers completed a sweep in the NL wildcard series on Wednesday night. Ohtani didn't pitch last season due to elbow surgery. From the NHL, this was the game Kevin, the medium, was referring to earlier. Quinn Hughes had a goal and 2 assists. Max Sasson scored twice, and the Vancouver Canucks pasted the Calgary Flames 8-1 in preseason play. Ryan Winterton scored twice, including a shorty, and the Seattle Kraken defeated the Edmonton Oilers 4-2. Seattle took a 3-0 lead by the 15-minute mark of the opening period. Darnell Nurse and Matt Savoy replied for Edmonton, which turned into a 3-2 game entering the third period. The sports update is for Ultimate Fan Zone in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. Are you looking for the hottest fan gear? Swing by Ultimate Fan Zone Sports Store in Moose Jaw or shop online at ultimatefanzone.ca, where real fans get their gear. As I said, what we've talked about today, Major League Baseball, NFL, CFL, NHL. We've got it all to this point. And we talked about the CFL rule and field changes. Kirk in Toronto writes in. He says, hi, Rod. Uniquely Canadian for now. That's the one thing. Maybe my purpose on this earth is to bring Canada and USA together, at the very least, on the football front. Wouldn't that be great? I mean, it's the interesting part of this business. I've reported about 10% of what I know or heard from some pretty good sources on where the CFL rule and field changes came from and why. And, people, Kevin said it earlier, and he quoted Nick Lewis, a Hall of Famer, that if the CFL is doing this with an eye towards expanding to the U.S. or anywhere, come out and say it. Are they at liberty to do that? I don't know. I'm not in their shoes. I don't know. I know what I've been told. I've heard what cities in the U.S. have been targeted. I mean, come on. Line it all up. And, I just, for the TSN guys to take to social media to defend the league, I get why you have to do that, but maybe don't say anything. Why don't say anything? I know the barrage has been bad, but who cares? Let people mouth off, and then they'll get over it, I think. I'm not totally sure, but I saw Dave Naylor, who's a good friend of mine for many years, saying the other day, to say this is Americanization is ridiculous. No, it's not. I mean, that's the term I heard when I heard it was coming down the pipe. That's the term that's been used internally. Guys, just maybe take a break for a while. You made the announcement. What we're seeing here is just this tidal wave of criticism from the fans and the players. And maybe they feel the need to stand up and mouth back. I don't know, but you made your decision. Pretty sure you're not going back on it, so live with it. And, Stuart Johnston, which, by the way, when I see the TSN guys are defending the league, as am I, Stuart Johnston was nice enough to come on this show last week and admitted that was phase 1. I have no idea what phase 2 is, but, I'll probably get a call and somebody will tell me. But he said that they're not touching the rules. And when you think about it, you don't need to touch the rules to go to the States and play in the U.S. stadiums. You can still do 3 downs. You can still do 12 men. Still have the Rouge. You can't do the ratio, though. And I addressed that on the weekend in my newsletter. If you don't get it, you should sign up for it at rodpeterson.com for free. Because I don't get the ratio. I think it's silly. I do. That's just me. Don't throw your shoe at the television. But it's like I was a country music DJ. It was my first job. I'm like, why are we playing 40% Canadian music? Because we have to, Rod. Why? CRTC rate. I'm always the guy that wants to know why. That's why I've always been the pain in my boss's ass all the time. But I'm like, the Canadian music's just as good as the U.S. music, so who cares? It's the way that it is. And 20 years in the Canadian Football League, 30 covering it, over 30 years covering it. I'm like, these Canadian players are just as good as the U.S. players. Why do we have to have a ratio to? They're just as now. There was a time, as you know, it was all American coaches, and in the CFL, they had this American bias towards their players. They just felt the U.S. players were better, and maybe for a long period of time they were, but they're not anymore. They're not. Even ask the U.S. coaches now; they'll tell you the Canadians are just as good. So it's time to get rid of the ratio. And again, I don't care about the passport. I'm sitting here in America. We're going to television in Nevada next hour like we do every day. Nobody knows that I'm Canadian. I'll tell you if you won't need to. But I'll put myself up against any American broadcaster any day. Why do we have to hide behind this ratio? So, and I think the league agrees. It's why I think that's where they're going this way. Producer Corey just said in my ear, because Canada. Of course, I always look at things the opposite of everybody else, and that's where everybody thinks I'm such a freak. But I'm so pro-Canada that I'm saying we don't need a ratio to prove it. And I was actually thinking about this morning because they were talking about Bad Bunny. I don't even know his friggin' name, the act that's going to play the Super Bowl. And the argument, here's the thing, I guess I don't have the energy to fight anymore. And I thought it was an age thing, but it's not an age thing. I've just evolved in that. Say what you want to say. I've said for years the Canadian Grey Cup halftime act should be Canadian. The Grey Cup Canadian Football League halftime act should be Canadian. Anybody that's been watching this show for a long time knows I've been saying it for decades. I'm done. They don't agree. So for anybody that says that I'm anti-Canadian by saying we should abolish the ratio, can shove it. You just don't see it the way that I do. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, does the next phase involve a name change? That's what I wonder. No, I don't. I don't agree with much of what they do or how they go about things, but they're not that obtuse. What makes the Canadian Football League Canadian are the rules. And if they're not going to touch the rules from here on in, ratio aside, there would be no need to change it. That's the one thing people don't understand. You all think that Americans laugh at the CFL. They do not. They think it's cool as hell. They do. So changing it would not be. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says that statement's confusing to me, Rod. I'm not shocked about that at all, Jeff, because you and I think diametrically opposed to each other. So I'm not going to explain it for a second time. Allie has just tuned in from Texas. Hello, Allie. You showed up just in time. Are the Dallas Stars playing tonight? Doesn't look like it. You'll get a kick out of this, Allie. I was on the show in Michigan on Tuesday night, the Lou Gamelin show. He goes, well, Rod, you're a Dallas Stars guy. I'm like, no, I'm not. Where'd you ever get that idea? I haven't been a Dallas Stars guy since my dad retired over a decade ago. No. Did have a fun time last night on the Hockey Princess podcast out of Chicago. Angela dialed me up, and we had a great time previewing next Tuesday's NHL opener between the Florida Panthers and Chicago Blackhawks. And Allie, you can appreciate this being in Texas. It's just weird. I'm sitting down here talking about the Panthers and the Lightning, and incidentally, they're meeting tonight in Tampa Bay, preseason play. And people, I'm sure, Allie, you're getting it too from your friends. People are blowing up my phone going, they're playing already? Yeah, hockey's playing. But now it's starting to make sense to me. It's only taken 5 years. I'm a slow learner. But why Randy Moeller, the longtime color voice of the Florida Panthers and pride of Red Deer, Alberta, said to me, we can't have enough guys like you down here. I didn't know what he meant. Now I get it. Nobody else is talking hockey here but me, largely. And it's not like I go out of my way to do it. I do it because I love it. But everybody else is all horny about the Dolphins and the Miami Hurricanes and the FSU Miami game on Saturday. I get it, but some of us here has to like hockey. We'll be back with hour 2 right after this.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Spirit of Italian. Come in. Enjoy.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Spirit of Italian. Come in. Enjoy.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
How about that?
we're off. Welcome to the Rod Pedersen Show, everybody. Coming to you on the Game Plus television network across Canada and 32 U.S. states and the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network, along with a variety of other broadcast platforms, including 1700 Mission Radio. I'm your affable host, Rod Pedersen. Coming up on the program today, in the next segment, Jersey Jim Biringer. He's from, if you can believe, New Jersey. And we'll be talking some NHL with him, some NFL with him, and believe it or not, some Canadian Football League stuff. He's got some very quirky takes on that, but we're rocking and rolling today. Welcome inside. Make yourself comfortable. The text line is open for Western Dodge. If anything that we're saying tickles your fancy, 902-518-3033. We've got a lot to get to, so let's not delay. Let's go with the very big story. In our world, it's baseball. Point one of our quick six show topics, Jazz Chisholm Jr. zipped all the way home from first base on Austin Wells' tie-breaking single in the eighth inning, and the New York Yankees extended their season with a 4-3 victory over the Boston Red Sox in Game 2 of their American League Wildcard Series. By now, I know that's all old news, but it sets up tonight. It sets up tonight the deciding winner-take-all showdown at Yankee Stadium, and even non-baseball fans are excited about this game tonight. Yankees versus Red Sox, winner takes all, or at least advances to the American League Division Series against the Toronto Blue Jays, which all of Toronto's on pins and needles waiting for their opponent tonight. The ratings are going to be sky high. You all know that. I'm just saying, first pitch tonight is 8:08 Eastern, early versus Schittler, and we had a lot of fun yesterday because we were always the Blue Jays show. I think we will always be the Blue Jays show, originating out of Canada, Game Plus Television. Huge Blue Jays fans in the control room there. I think we all want the Yankees, but who knows? We'll know tonight who is visiting Rogers Center Game 1 on Saturday. So it was a great theater last night. That's the thing. I felt like Game 1, they were subdued in Yankee Stadium, which they should have been. They only scored one run. But on Wednesday's Game 2, everybody was on their feet, just like they were at Dodger Stadium. It's fall ball, man, and this is what gets everybody into it and alive. It's a great time of year. Point two of the quick six show topics as we move over to football. The Los Angeles Rams will look to build on their momentum when they take on the division rival San Francisco 49ers in Thursday Night Football to kick off Week 5 in the NFL. Brock Purdy's out for the beat-up 49ers, while the Rams are a blocked field goal away from being undefeated. The Rams have won 3 in a row against the 49ers. We talk about betting here, but I don't bet, which is probably a little odd probably a good thing, actually, for a show running across Nevada here on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network. But our Associated Press picker is picking the Rams to win tonight, and they're getting fancy by a 26-16 score for the Los Angeles Rams tonight. That is the Week 5 kickoff on Prime. But it's not a real exciting week of football as far as I'm concerned. Our poll question today for EMJ Marketing, which, by the way, expert voices, impactful messages, discover the perfect speaker at EMJ Marketing. Check them out at emjmarketing.com. Your poll question is, what is America's game of the week in Week 5 in the NFL? Is it tonight's Thursday nighter, Rams and 49ers, which I think a case could be made for that, NFC West battle, 2 3-1 teams? Is it the Monday nighter, the Kansas City Chiefs at the Jacksonville Jaguars? The Jags, one of the many upstart teams in this NFL season at 3-1. That's the Monday nighter. And the Chiefs are now America's team, as you all know. And then the other, because we're airing across Nevada, the Las Vegas Raiders at the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts are another of the upstart teams that nobody saw coming at 3-1, and they're very close to being 4-0. Or is it other? And as I look at the text line here, 902-518-3033, Greg is watching in Calgary. He writes in, he says, Rod, I'll take other. Denver versus Philadelphia looks interesting. Well, a case can be made for any game, why it's exciting. Leading the poll is other. Maybe that's the game that they're referring to, Greg in Calgary, other. But it's not like last week's games. It's not like Dallas, Green Bay on Sunday night, which ended in, speaking of nothing burgers, in a 40-40 tie. We are also streaming on YouTube. We're not just on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network and not just on Game Plus Television. We're streaming on YouTube. We got a lot of viewers there. Rich writes in from Edmonton. He's a big Vegas Raiders fan, by the way. He says, I went to the second last Red Sox game in the old Yankee Stadium. Incredible atmosphere, even for a regular season game. But doesn't it look good? Doesn't it look good? It's what baseball should be. That's why I wanted the Yankees to get in. I want to see them win this game 3, and then I want to see them lose to our Toronto Blue Jays. I know that's asking for a lot, but Rich in Edmonton writes in, he says, I picked the Raiders game. They're hilarious to watch. You know what? And that's coming from a Raiders fan, by the way. Point 3 of our Quick Six show topics, because we do an air in Canada for an hour prior to this daily. We do a lot of Canadian Football League talk. The picks are brought to you by Pump Jack's Steakhouse and Saloon. Come early, stay late at the place where friends meet. There's only 3 games in the Canadian Football League this week. Friday night, Sask at Ottawa. I got Riders to win. Saturday, doubleheader, Hamilton at Toronto. I picked Hamilton. And the second game is the Calgary Stampeders at the BC Lions, and I took Calgary to win that football game. Tough one for the Toronto Argonauts. Trying to draw a crowd at BMO Field on the very same day the Blue Jays are hosting whomever in Game 1 of the ALDS. But that's life in sports. By the way, I didn't get to this, and I wanted to. I'm jumping out of order here. This would be like point 4. Supposed to be 0.5. Pete Carroll could be just about anywhere doing nearly anything that he wants after accomplishing so much as a championship-winning coach in college and the NFL. The multi-million-dollar contracts he received as a reward for such efforts. But after a year away from the NFL, the 74-year-old Carroll chose a return to take on the challenge of turning around a Las Vegas Raiders franchise that has gone more than 2 decades since coming close even to the Super Bowl. That appears to be a common theme for Carroll and other coaches aged 70 years and older. They thrive on competition, and a leisurely retirement doesn't seem to be as appealing as drawing up game plans and developing athletes. Carroll is the only NFL coach in that age range, though Kansas City's Andy Reid at 67 isn't that far behind. Why am I bringing that up? I wanted to address it last hour when we had Kevin the Medium with us from the Hughes Sports podcast, but we had so many other things to get to. I didn't get to it. But Jersey Jim's loaded up next and coming in from the NHL Full Press Network. And he covers, obviously, NHL, but a lot of NFL. And I just think it's fascinating with these coaches in their 70s. I know there's a lot of people that probably think it's sad. Don't you want to go retire on a beach somewhere? Don't you want to be golfing somewhere? Don't you want to be doing what people that are retired and your age want to do? This is what they want to do. But as Rich, the Raiders fan, and I feel like we're going to have a lot of Raiders fans right in. We may need to be more specific down the line, but Rich, the Raiders fans, wasn't it you, Rich, that said, what's the succession plan in Vegas? At 74, he's not the long-term guy, but he's the guy to get them from where they were to where they want to be. And I don't think the day that they announced Pete Carroll as head coach of the Vegas Raiders, they even knew. I'm not sure they know today who the next head coach will be, although with Tom Brady involved, if they don't know now, they'll know soon. I don't think it'll be Tom. But look at these guys. Bill Belichick at UNC having a decent year. They're a long ways away from achieving double-digit wins. They probably won't. But Belichick seems happy, doesn't he? And Nick Saban went the other way. In his 70s, the star of college football, ESPN College Game Day. And I just sit there, and I'm sure a lot of you do too, sit there and watch College Game Day and just listen to the pearls coming out of Nick Saban's mouth. I wrote it down the other day. I would have to go and look it up exactly what it says, but I think it was, he said consistency and performance equals success. Or consistency and performance define success. I'm like, oh, I got to write that down. But this is a guy that through NIL, and I guarantee the age of the athletes, Nick was like, I'm out. I'm done. He won his championships. It's funny with the Miami Dolphins, where they got the Carolina Panthers this week, I believe. People are up. I'm here in South Florida. They were talking about who's going to be the next coach of the Dolphins. And I don't think they can fire Mike McDaniel now because their best player's done. And they just won on Monday night. But the name Nick Saban came up. And, I mean, I didn't know. I've only lived here going on 5 years, but the longtime Dolphins fans, which include my neighbor Fish, we were out for supper the other night having a steak. He goes, "Oh, Nick Saban? We call him Nick Satan around here." It ain't going to be Nick Saban, but you're coming off a win. Tyreek Hill's hurt. You can't fire Mike McDaniel now. All the talk around here of who's going to be the next coach of the Dolphins is gone. By the way, we are flying through this pretty well. The hottest RP show merch is just one click away. Might as well tell you now. Go to rodpeterson.com, click on RP store. Hoodies, shirts, hats. I don't wear a lot of hats, but coffee mugs. We got it all at rodpeterson.com. Click on RP store. Okay, to hockey. My love. Point 5. The Vegas Golden Knights go into every season with the intention of winning a Stanley Cup, and anything short of that would be considered a disappointment. At BetMGM Sportsbook, they are co-favorites to win the Stanley Cup, the Vegas Golden Knights and the Colorado Avalanche. And I'm sorry, I'm fascinated by this for a lot of reasons, because come next week, the power rankings, the betting odds, they're all going to change because it's going to be based on what's happening on the ice. But right now, enjoy this because everybody's in first place. Nobody's played yet. And we have a lot of Canadian viewers tuned in on Game Plus Television, YouTube. We've been doing this a long time. We're in season 7 here. And I want to know what you all think about these betting odds. And we'll pause for a second because we do it every day. It's 11 minutes after the hour. If you observe, 11 minutes after the hour. Visualize a positive outcome to your current situation. It'll happen. And what do you got to lose? So Vegas and Colorado are tied for first. Then at third, the Carolina Hurricanes and the Edmonton Oilers. And then fifth, the Florida Panthers, the two-time defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers. The last time I looked at the power rankings, betting odds, whatever, right now they're about the same thing. Florida was number 1 everywhere. They've been reading the news. They saw that Alexander Barkov is gone for 7 to 9 months, the captain of the Panthers, and Matthew Tkachuk is out until December-ish, to quote GM Bill Zito. But did you not read that the Edmonton Oilers are having goaltending issues? Where's my Edmonton people at? Including Rich, the Raiders fan who hangs his hat in Edmonton. Dallas, you can't even find them with a search party, Allie. She's tuned in from Texas. Sorry, Allie. Oh, here come all the comments. We're going to have to carry this over. BC Eric writes in, he says, Pete Carroll's loyalty to Geno Smith will make this a one-and-done season. Geno Smith needs to stop throwing to the other team, the team in the other colored jerseys. That's what Geno needs to do. It's not over yet. It's not over yet in that AFC West. I got off the hockey track. That's my bad. Let me get back on the hockey track, and if I have time, I'll get to your questions and comments. 1, Vegas and Colorado. Tied for third, Carolina and Edmonton. And fifth, the Florida Panthers. Oh, you're all wondering about the Leafs. All you people watching, you people in Toronto watching on Game Plus TV and the millions of Leaf Nation around the world. 9th. Alan May was on here on Tuesday, the longtime Washington Capitals TV analyst, and he said every year the Leafs are the favorites to win the Stanley Cup until this year. And they're not. Probably a relief for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Number 11, the Winnipeg Jets. I had somebody, I said on the show yesterday, I got a Winnipeg-Carolina Stanley Cup final. We put it on our Facebook page. Go give us a follow on Facebook at The Rod Pedersen Show. Somebody said, you're either on to something or you're on something. Well, I'm not on something. 10 years sober here, which also makes me safe for Vegas. Almost came back from that place in a box back in the day. Number 18, the Montreal Canadiens, which if you're looking at, 16 teams make the playoffs. So at 18, that's got the Habs out of the playoffs. And number 19, the Vancouver Canucks. This is all at BetMGM. So if you don't like it, don't come at me. They've got the Senators in the playoffs and the Canadiens behind. And for our hockey people that are watching, that was something that I wrestled with mightily the past couple of weeks. Who's going to have more points, the Senators or the Canadiens? They both made it into the playoffs last year. They've both been in long rebuilds. BetMGM thinks the Sens are going to be ahead of the Habs this year. Don't blame me. Scott is watching in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. He goes, you look like you're in your 30s today, Roddy. Why do you say that? Thanks. Kenny writes in from Vancouver. Good morning, Rod. Here's all the pro teams who I cheer for and have been a fan of my whole life. The San Francisco 49ers, Toronto Maple Leafs, Saskatchewan Roughriders, any team who's playing the Blue Jays. Those are the only sports I watch. Now that I told you that I'm a Leafs fan, I don't expect you to read my comments on air ever again. LOL. 49ers have absolutely no chance tonight with all their injuries.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live. Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Welcome back, everybody. The RP Show continues here on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network and Game Plus Television. Hour 2 brought to you in part by Cool Bet. Claim your welcome bet bonus up to $200 with the promo code RP200 at coolbet.com. Canadian viewers only. Sorry. So that would exclude our good friend Jersey Jim, who joins us from New Jersey. How you doing, Jimmy, from NHL Full Press?
I'm doing well, Rod. Thanks for having me. Quick tour stop here in Vegas. Good to be here. Can't wait. Play the residency. I'm glad to be on Silver Sports and Game Plus Television in New Jersey, by the way.
Oh, Game Plus rocking and rolling across 32 U.S. states. You know the show is very big in New Jersey, where the Devils, I guess that's a very good place to start. It's a good week to be a Devils fan. Let's start there. I'm sure the Devils fans still talking about the deal for Luke Hughes. What does this mean for him and the team, which came down on, Wednesday morning?
That is correct. Wednesday morning, a little after 10, news drop. We had the Kaprizov on the day before around same time. So, yeah, good news for New Jersey to get one of their defensemen back. You know, some people could say he's their number one defenseman on the left side. $63 million just coming out of entry level. 2 full seasons. He's played 3 based on his ELC, but it was only 1 game and it was burnt. And then he played a little bit in the playoffs. It's really his first year, but 2 full seasons. $9 million AAV is a lot. I know from talking to some people, I mean, the Devils didn't want to go higher than Brock Faber's AAV of 8.5. They didn't really want to go higher than 8. But, you know, you have to compromise and you have to work things out if you want to keep a defenseman. And with the cap going up, they get him into camp because, let's be honest, the longer this thing dragged on and the holdout continues, the Devils open next week up in Carolina. If it got into next week, now you're going to start missing regular season games. Missing preseason games and training camp is okay, but you're still behind the 8 ball. He's skating today in New Jersey. He's working with both groups, trying to catch up. He's not playing here Thursday night against the Rangers. We'll see. It's a coach's decision if he plays Saturday. So we'll see what happens. But it's good news for New Jersey Devils fans.
I'm smiling because the great thing about Jersey Jim and why we wanted to get him on our first week here on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network is you can cover it all. Devils, Rangers, Islanders, Yankees, Mets, Giants, Jets. I'm hoping to get to it all here. But I was saying, if you were watching earlier, enjoy now the betting odds, the power rankings, because they're all going to change within a week's time. Once the games start, none of this means anything. But Vegas and Colorado are co-betting favorites at BetMGM to win the Stanley Cup. Vegas and Colorado. And then Carolina and Edmonton are tied. Florida's slipped all the way to 5th. And the Devils are in the top 10, but behind the Lightning, Stars, and Panthers. Do you go along with that? I mean, nobody's ever going to go back and look. But are they in the ballpark, do you think, with this?
Yeah, I think they're in the ballpark. I didn't think look, Vegas got it right last year because I saw the way too early betting odds that Florida and Edmonton won too. And sure enough, those 2 teams made a Stanley Cup final again. So they must be on to something, right? They got to be on to something. But yeah, Devils where they are in the betting odds, I think it's fair. Look, they got to get through. Look, the Metro Division it's the easiest of the divisions out there because they can finish 1, 2, 3. I don't think they're a wild card thing. I think they're going to finish 1 or 2 behind Carolina. I think that Carolina is the cream of the crop of that division. The Devils have to play more consistency, but I've heard Nico Hischier talk about it. Jack Hughes, a lot of the players, everybody around the organization, expectations are high this year. They want to make a deep run in the playoffs. Who are you? What are you? It's kind of put up or shut up time for now. You get in the playoffs, you're one and done. Now you got to win a couple of rounds. Now guys are starting to get paid. How much of this playoff salary cap is going to affect who is in and out of the lineup come April when games start? But I like where Vegas has New Jersey.
Vegas finished 3rd overall last year. They were always in it in the end. They lost to the Oilers in round 2, but they're always going to be in it. I'm not surprised they're as high as they are, especially with the signing of Mitch Marner. I'm going to forgo the Florida Panthers talk. I've talked enough about that on my various other shows, including the Cats and Bolts podcast, which we debuted yesterday. All I will say is this, and ask you this before we move on to the NFL. Have you made a Stanley Cup final pick yet? Yesterday I went with Winnipeg, Carolina. People laughed at me. I'm used to that. That's a whole life thing for me, but I would love to see that. Winnipeg has never won the Stanley Cup. For Carolina, it's been a long time, and they've been knocking on the door. Those are the teams that came to me. And as you know, I've nailed these in the past quite regularly. This would be a
Yeah.
stretch. But what are yours?
Yeah, that one's a stretch. I saw it on Facebook and on Instagram when you posted that yesterday, and I was like, I mean, I could see it. It's possible. I mean, Winnipeg, Nick Ehlers' revenge tour rolls through Winnipeg during the Stanley Cup final. I mean, that would be something to see. I mean, somebody asked me this in various shows that I've done when I was on the Sirius XM channel, and I was like, talk to me in 6 months. And they're like, no, you got to get a pick. And I was like, all right, well, look, I think if Barkov's going to be Adrian Pedersen and come back from this thing, I can't take out the Florida Panthers. Like, I can't bet against them because I don't see a team right now in the Eastern Conference that's better than them because they're just so deep and they're so good. I could see them going back to the Stanley Cup final again just because of what they can do. Because I'm gonna be honest, like Carolina, it's a great pick, but this has got to be the year, right? Like they eventually have to get past the conference final or else what are we doing in Carolina? In the Western Conference, it's so wide open because Vegas got issues on D, older guys, older team. How's Aiden Hill going to look? Colorado, same thing, depth scoring. If I look at it, I'm going to kind of go off the board here, and I'm going to go Dallas, Florida. Just for fun. Talk to me in 6 months, but I think Dallas, Florida.
You were very close to that happening last year. By the way, Allie in Texarkana writes in. She says, hey, Jim. Allie, the Stars fan. Ryan in Saratoga, New York says, the most excited Devils fan is my niece who told me that Luke Hughes got extended. She's geeked up for the season. Yes. And he also said, Ryan says, hi, Jersey Jim. Very popular analyst of ours, Jersey Jim from New Jersey. I lied. I said we would go to the NFL, but you're big on the Yankees. I know that. Woo. It's fall ball, man. It doesn't get much better than what's happening tonight. Until next round, should they win it, you think they're going to pull it off?
I mean, I've been betting against them, and I've been talking a lot of smack. I don't think my aunt in heaven would like that too much. She was a diehard Yankees fan. I don't think she would like that too much. I've been talking a lot of smack, especially about Aaron Boone and the way he pulls out starting pitchers and guys are walking. 2 rookies tonight. They better beat Boston tonight because there's going to be a lot of talk tomorrow on Sports Talk Radio on Friday if they don't win and they lose again. I'm going to take the Yankees tonight just because I can't root for Boston. So I'm going to go with the Yankees. I think they have the better bullpen. They have the better lineup. Let's see if the starting pitcher can hold. That's always the key.
Well, I've said it all week that the Yankees and Blue Jays have had this off-field rivalry all year. The Blue Jays have had their number on the diamond. I want them to face the Yankees for a million reasons. I think they obviously match up better with them. It's a fun story. If we get through all this, I will get to the viewer questions because a lot of them have hockey questions for you, Jersey Jim from NHL Full Press. Going into the season, I asked you who would have more wins among New York NFL teams, the Giants or the Jets. What a turtle race this has been.
A complete snail race. Jets 0-4. Probably should be at least have a victory. Giants 1-3. Maybe they'll get to 2-3. Jackson Dart looking hot. I mean, I said neither. I said tie. Maybe, I think. But look, the Giants may have more wins than the Jets this year. Just because the energy Jackson Dart brings, Cam Scatterbo, again, MetLife turf taking another victim, torn ACL for Malik Neighbors. Gotta get the turf out of there. Bring the grass back in MetLife. Can't have star players going down. Look, the Jets, I don't know what's going on. They got to get a quarterback. Justin Fields ain't the guy. Aaron Glenn's got the meme of the year. Probably should have won that game. I loved it, but it is a snail's race.
You talking about the Tampa game? The Tampa game?
The Tampa game. You got to be able to finish that game off after a blocked field goal for a touchdown. Like, that's a game you have to win. The Steeler game probably should have won clock management. Maybe they both have enough wins, the same amount of wins. I'm going to stay with that prediction. Neither team's going to have more victories than the other because, man, they both stink right now.
Which we knew.
Yeah.
But, I mean, who thought that this Russell Wilson experiment would end this soon? Not me.
I didn't. I thought it would be this game. I thought they say, all right, Russ, you're done. Let's go into the Saints game. But the offense would look stagnant. They're too conservative. the nail in the coffin for Russ was those plays at the end against Kansas City on national TV, throwing those balls down the tunnel. You got to figure out the Giants could have won that Kansas City game. Kansas City did not play great in that first half. Giants had chances to execute, didn't do it. Maybe if you go to Jackson Dart, and I like that Brian Daboll's using the Ole Miss playbook, allowing Dart to use plays that he feels comfortable with. That's what they needed to do. Russ too conservative. We'll see what happens. I didn't think it was going to be this quickly. I thought if the Giants were bad, I thought Jackson Dart would come in at the end of the year. I didn't think it was going to be this soon.
All of a sudden, he's the toast of the town, as was Tommy Cutlets for 15 minutes 2 years ago. So we'll see. By the way, Jersey Jim is the guest. He's joining us from New Jersey here on Game Plus TV and the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network from NHL Full Press. They have some questions here about the Gotham Green. You got my team in there, the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not sure I'll even be watching on Sunday. I thought that we would have our way with the Bears 2 weeks ago. That didn't happen. What's it like when America's team rolls into the Big Apple? What's it like?
It's actually pretty crazy because if you think about it, right, we think about it Giants and Jets, but there's a lot of Cowboys fans in New Jersey. Like in North Jersey, there's a lot of Cowboys fans. I grew up with a lot of them, a lot of good friends of mine, Cowboys fans. And yeah, they're always pessimistic when they have to face a weaker team because you're not sure what Dallas team's going to show up. But Dallas's offense is really good with Dak Prescott there. They can obviously they could throw the ball down the field if they could get a running game. And if they had a defense, if they could stop people and not give up 40 points a game, that would be huge. This is like Big 12 defense. If you're a college football fan, you'll know what that means. They don't play defense in the Big 12. It's always like 56-54 final scores on Saturday. So, but the Dallas defense, it's really good because it's like if you think about original six hockey teams for a minute, like Dallas Cowboys, if you grew up in the 70s, you were a Cowboys fan, Staubach fan, they travel everywhere. So they're always up in this area, especially because they got to play the Giants, right? Now they're playing the Jets. So it's really crazy to see them come out. And I never knew there was that many Cowboys fans, but there are a lot of them, especially in this state.
Well, you're talking to one, and what's odd is here in South Florida, there aren't that many. There aren't that many at all, which is fine. I'm okay with it. But there's not as many as you would think here. That surprised me. Okay, they want to talk hockey. Cat's out of the bag. Our Canadian viewers know it, but our U.S. viewers, especially the new ones, probably don't. Jim and I are both hockey first, or at least I'm speaking for myself. I am. You are too, are you not?
Yeah, I'm hockey first, 100%.
Yeah. Okay, so they got hockey questions. BW writes in, he says, Jersey Jim, what are you hearing about the Buffalo Sabres? Is Josh Doan going to be in the starting lineup?
That's a very good question. Look, they're taking some things slow up there. Kevin Adams, the general manager, you got Jarmo Kekalainen up there. They want to build this thing the right way. They want to keep their own players there in Buffalo. Josh Doan's playing well for them. I think they wanted him to season in the AHL. They have a good team right now with Tuck is there, Thompson, right? You got Darlene's back there, Powers back there, Bowen Byram. Their offense is good. They just lost J.J. Peterka. Doan came over in that trade. Jack Quinn is there as well. The Sabres have to get the culture change that they need to be winners again. Because I'll be honest, I'm seeing 15 years and no playoffs. And I love Buffalo. I think Buffalo has great fans, hockey, Bills, doesn't matter. And they haven't seen a playoff game in years. And they need to. But that division's so tough. I just don't see it this year. And they got to figure out their front office and get a winning culture and not accept losing.
It's not going to be this year. It's not going to be this year. And the thing is, I saw them twice when they came through Sunrise last year, and where they're at as a team. The reason I'm hockey first is that was the sport that I was raised in. I can understand it. I can see it very quickly what's going on. And the Sabres are at a place where the second something goes wrong in a game, they quit. Do you see that?
I see it 100%. You read my mind, Rod. You really do. You're seeing the same game I'm seeing because they quit. Like any little thing, that's like the Devils too, because the Devils got to get over that mindset too, even though they made playoffs. It's like if something bad happens, then it just snowballs. And if you want to win, you got to just say, forget it, forget the shift, forget what happened, and get back to work. And the Sabres haven't been able to do that.
I don't know. I think you probably follow pretty closely what's going on in the West. Like Daryl in Calgary writes in on the Western Dodge text line, and he says, thoughts on the Calgary Flames, guys? Well, Daryl watches every day. I give my thoughts on the Flames almost every day, so I'll ask yours. I mean, I gave you the BetMGM odds the other day. They don't have the Flames in the playoffs. They're very far down. The Flames are here, and it surprised me a little bit because they tied an NHL record last year for most points, and to miss the playoffs, you'd like to think you go up. BetMGM doesn't think that they will. What do you think about the Calgary Flames?
It's going to be tough for them to do that again. However, by the way, congratulations, Ryan Huska, on his 2-year contract extension with the Calgary Flames. Congratulations to him because he's a great coach. Talked to him a few times last year. He's awesome. This team is not going to be outworked by anybody. They're the hardest working team I've watched. They had a great comeback against New Jersey last year. Huberdeau's getting better. You got Nazem Kadri there. Dustin Wolf is a star goalie in this league. What a contract for him. I love Kevin Ball there. I think the Flames are going to be a playoff team, to be honest. I like them there. I think the Pacific is tough for them, right? Because Vancouver, we don't know what they are. I don't see Seattle as a playoff team. I'm be honest, I don't see Anaheim as one either. And I think Calgary can sneak in and figure out a way to get in. I think, obviously the biggest question marks, Rasmus Anderson. Does he stay? Does he go? I wouldn't be shocked if he stays. A lot of things we can't assume. Everybody assumes he's going to get traded. What if they come up with a new deal and he stays? I think you can't ask players to outpunch their weight class, especially if you want to make the playoffs and lose a guy like Anderson. I like the Calgary Flames. I'm high on the Calgary Flames. And this team is priming himself when they get that new building to be a steady playoff team in the future.
Yeah, and the positivity level in Calgary is higher than it's been in well over a decade, maybe almost 20 years. I would hate for them to miss the playoffs. What their fans and their detractors both say is they didn't do enough in free agency, but I just don't think it's about that. It's about culture, and Ryan Huska is leading that parade. Okay, we got less than 2 minutes. You seemed oddly fascinated by the CFL rule and field changes last week. Why? I didn't even think you cared.
I love the CFL. I watch it because – a guy of mine, buddy of mine, one of my trainers has one of the players that on Ottawa, we trained a lot in the summer. But we were just talking about it back and forth, and we're like, this could be, I heard that everybody talking about expansion and everything, but you almost wonder about an NFL partnership down the line, maybe as a feeder league. Everybody's looking for that spring football, right? And maybe, we were just talking off here, a couple of guys, and we're just like, yeah, we like the rule changes because imagine if you start the season a little bit earlier, some of these guys come down right before trade deadline, before final rosters start, and maybe they get on some NFL clubs too. I don't know, just throwing it out there. So I'm just fascinated by it, and I like them.
Well, FYI, if you were reading my diary 20 plus years ago, I was talking about it then. You know how that was received? I'm now living in Florida. So they don't want to hear in Canada about becoming an NFL feeder system or NFL Canada. My God, they'll nail you to the wall. I'm totally with you, but it's a topic that right now we don't have any more time for. Allie in Texas writes in, she says, so glad Hockey Talk is back. I'm getting that a lot, and I'm sure you are too, Jersey Jim. Thanks for this, buddy. Keep on the trail. We'll see you soon.
Take it easy, everybody. And thank you so much. And we'll be back again real soon. All right. Thanks, Rod.
Thank, man. Give him a follow on social media at Jersey Jim Biringer on Instagram and Nightcap Recap. We'll be right back after this.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Welcome back, everybody. It's the RP Show across the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network and Game Plus TV. Nice to be here, but I can tell you in this business, it's nice to be anywhere. We got a sports update coming up. I will tell you, are you craving the famous Greek ribs everyone is talking about? Get yours today at the Mad Greek Eatery. Dine in, pick up, or order online at themadgreekeatery.com. We got so many viewers in Moose Jaw and area. Go on down to the Mad Greek, please, and tell them you saw RP talking about them. See how it goes. See what the Mad Greek has to say about that. By the way, I will say this. We got a note from producer Corey and various people. Our first week here on Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network across the state of Nevada. Somebody was asking, how's it gone? It's gone fantastically. We're getting wonderful reviews from the TV network and obviously from viewers. But I got to nip this in the bud right here on week one. I'm not getting you Golden Knights tickets. I can't, and I won't. So thanks for asking, but no, not Ticketmaster, not doing it. I buy my own tickets for games, largely. So yeah, people can too. It didn't take long. Okay, to the sports update. The Toronto Blue Jays are waiting to see who comes north this weekend. Either the Yankees or Red Sox will earn that ticket tonight when they square off in a decisive Game 3 of the American League Wild Card Series in New York. This is why I watch baseball. This is what I love for baseball. I don't watch 162 games. I have a tough time watching 82 hockey games or a full one hockey game. But now, every pitch, everybody's on their feet. Enjoy it, everybody. Enjoy it for what it is. Meanwhile, Blue Jays general manager Ross Atkins says shortstop Bo Bichette is improving daily from a knee sprain, but there's still no timetable set for his return. Bichette has been sidelined the past 3 weeks after hurting his left knee late in the regular season. Toronto, who's holding intra-squad games today to stay sharp, opens the ALDS on Saturday against the winner of the Yankees and Red Sox. Meanwhile, Shohei Ohtani will make his postseason pitching debut for the LA Dodgers against the Phillies. Manager Dave Roberts says Ohtani will start Game 1 of the NLDS beginning Saturday in Philadelphia. Ohtani hit 55 home runs this season after missing last year's playoffs with elbow surgery. And the Los Angeles Rams host the San Francisco 49ers in an NFC West matchup tonight. San Fran turns to quarterback Mac Jones with Brock Purdy sidelined by a toe injury. The Rams bring the league's fourth-ranked offense in, powered by quarterback Matthew Stafford and receiver Puka Nacua. The pundits predicting a 10-point Rams victory tonight on Thursday Night Football. The sports update is brought to you by Ultimate Fan Zone. From jerseys to trading cards, Ultimate Fan Zone Sports Store is your fan cave headquarters. Visit them in Moose Jaw or click over to ultimatefanzone.ca. The poll question today for EMJ Marketing is, what is the America's game of the week in the NFL? It's not the most tantalizing week of games, let's be honest. Our options, when other is leading the poll, it's like Monty Brewster and Brewster's Millions. None of the above. Our options we came up with were the game tonight, the Rams and the 49ers, which, by the way, I'm just wearing this 49ers colored shirt because of this Florida clothing brand. Whole Life made a series of shirts for me. I really appreciate them for doing that. Shout out Mark Gundry, Whole Life here in Florida clothing brand. I'm not a 49ers fan, but they're playing the Rams tonight. A case could be made for that being the game of the week. Chiefs, Jaguars Monday night. Raiders, Colts. Seems to me like even Raiders fans aren't interested in that game. At 1-3, all is not lost, Raiders fans. That's my take on that. But other is leading the poll. And we've had write-in votes. Denver, Philadelphia is a game people are interested in. Can you just hang on, B. Henderson? You talked about the ESPN commentator who's not interested in their NHL games on their own network. I want to talk about that and various other things. We'll be coming right back with overtime in a second. So 902-518-3033. Any questions or comments on the Western Dodge text line that you would like to get out of your system on any of the topics we've discussed today? Who do you want to face if you're a Blue Jays fan? Yankees or Red Sox? Are you into the NHL, or do you think they're starting too early, like so many people are saying to me? That's disturbing to me. And the rest of your questions. We'll be right back. We're live on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network, the Game Plus TV Network, YouTube Live, podcast, and Mission Radio.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge. Big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca. We're back. We are so back. It's the RP Show's Overtime segment brought to you by Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, where they are really big supporters of the RP Show in Calgary and Overtime Hockey Lanes. It's an amusement park for hockey players. If you haven't checked it out yet, what are you waiting for? Where skill and fun collide. It's not a trading center. It's about fun. Okay? 28th Street Northeast, Calgary. And thank you for allowing us to spend some time with you today. I'll be honest, it is the highlight of my day, hosting this show for you. And do me a favor. If you're watching it on Game Plus television across Canada or 32 U.S. states, you can do this. But specifically in Las Vegas, if you don't mind, if you're watching on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network right now, and we're on a television screen somewhere in a casino or a restaurant or a big screen, right, Corey, downtown, take a picture of us. Take a picture of us. Send it in. Exactly. 902-518-3033. Let's get it going. So just hang on a second. I said I would get to the viewer comments here. Some are trashing my shirt. Others aren't. What are you, 7? Nelson, our VP of Sim Events, writes in. He goes, the shirt screams Florida. It's almost perfect. Just wait till RP hits his full form and goes full-time Hawaiian. Can't say that that is on the radar. Can't say that it won't happen either. But it just fit. And how this started, when I came to Florida, Whole Life jumped all over that. They sent me Florida Panthers colored shirts. Now that I think about it, Mark, you want to send me some lightning colored shirts? Maybe we should get some Vegas colored shirt. Then it moved to the NFL. 49ers, Chiefs, which reminds me, went to the Super Bowl in Las Vegas, and man, everything's flowing here. Jim Barker will be on tomorrow. He's been on with us now for quite a number of years. 5-time Grey Cup champion in the CFL. His daughter Holly is the pit boss at the Bellagio. And when I went to the Super Bowl in Las Vegas 2 years ago, I was hosting events down there, doing live shows on Radio Row. Jim's like, I'm just going to tell everybody that's watching right now, tune in tomorrow. You'll love it. We'll do NFL football, college football, and obviously CFL. Football Friday is ball for all. And our regular viewers know this story, but I'm going to tell it again. Jim goes, go down and first thing you do, get to Vegas, go look up Holly at the Bellagio. I'll tell her you're coming. So I dropped my bags at the hotel, hoofed it to the Bellagio, found her in the pit, and I said, hey, I'm Rod from Game Plus TV, the RP show. I'm here for Super Bowl, and your dad told me that you'd help me out, set me up here in Vegas. And she's like, what are you into? Well, I don't drink, I don't gamble, and I don't carouse. She goes, what the hell are you doing here? I'm here to cover the Super Bowl. Okay. And she's like, well, I don't know. What are you into? And I said, do you have any tickets for the game? She's like, just gave the last 2 to Jay-Z and Beyonce. They were just here playing blackjack. Who are you? I get it. Never saw Holly again for the rest of the week, but nice gal. Jim owned a home in Las Vegas for quite a number of years. He doesn't anymore, but did tell me that he might again. Anyways, who was it here? B. Henderson writes in. He says, regarding the ESPN commentator who doesn't care or know anything about the NHL opening week. We were talking about this earlier in the program. He says, well, once the Blue Jays are done, pretty much no one in Canada will care or watch the rest of the MLB playoffs. Guy, I love it. Because you're so right. And what are you going to do? Like, we got called this summer a Blue Jays bandwagon show. I'm like, thank you. Thank you for noticing. We're a Blue Jays show when they're winning. Rest of the time, NHL, NFL, CFL. That's our jam. I want you to, when you tune into this show, know what you're going to get. Because we got enough stuff going on that we have no idea that isn't planned. Try to stick to some core things. I'm a little shocked at you, Bill, in Brantford, Ontario, writing in on the Western Dodge text line. I'm a little shocked at you. He writes it and he says, the NHL doesn't start too early. It just goes too long. Wait a minute. I think you're right. Now that I read the whole thing, I think you're right. And the amazing thing is they're extending the season. They're going 84 games. And then the Stanley Cup playoffs. But I know, Bill, you're in Brantford. You're in the home of Wayne Gretzky. You're a dyed-in-the-wool hockey fan. I don't ever get too much hockey. I just don't. And that's why I think for the hockey fans across the U.S., that's why they love this show. And that's why Nevada and Vegas was made for this program, because they're an NFL town and an NHL town. For now. Other teams probably showing up. And as far as Toronto on the Game Plus TV network, our overlords, they got the Raptors in the NBA. They got the Blue Jays in MLB. There's enough networks talking about them. We don't need to here on Game Plus, so we'll do it when the Blue Jays are winning. That's it. It's not like we're not following what's going on, but I'm getting it a ton here in South Florida about the hockey. They're starting already? I kind of get it, but I'm like, not only are we opening the season Tuesday with Connor Bedard and the Chicago Blackhawks coming to town, and I can't wait to be there. They've been skating for almost a month. And it's interesting because we do a podcast here, Florida's most watched hockey show, the Cats and Bolts podcast, and it's been kind of hard getting everybody rolling, especially with the Dolphins sucking. I'm surprised that more people aren't, but they're just not thinking hockey. And that's why the hockey people like us. Scott in Vancouver writes in, and he says, don't necessarily agree with that. Lots of baseball fans in Canada, especially of the border cities still in it, Seattle, Boston, Detroit. Well, I guess we'll see what the ratings say, and we will see. Yeah, we'll just see what the talk on Coffee Row is. I wish I had more time, but we're out of it. Tomorrow, a Football Friday, Ball for All, Jim Barker, Kevin the Medium, CFL, college, NFL. Looking forward to it. We'll see you then. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, here on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network and Game Plus TV.
That